So my name is Vishal. I'm a project scientist with Breakthrough Listen team, one of the world's largest program to search for evidence of technologically advanced life. And as a part of the team, what I do is to work with 6 or 7 different radio observatories which are spread all across the globe to facilitate SETI activities on them. In my other interests, I'm best known for discovering the first fast radio bursts at the highest radio frequencies. We use the Green Bank telescope with the cutting edge instrument we have there thanks to the Breakthrough Listen. And we use that instrument to search for fast radio bursts at the highest radio frequency, and we got pretty lucky with that. Later on, I shifted as a part of the project scientist to be part of the Breakthrough Listen team. So overall, I work with 6 or 7 different radio observatories. All of them are spread across the globe. Some of them are in Europe. I work mostly with this telescope called LOFAR, which have antennas spread in Ireland and Netherlands and Sweden, all across Europe. I also work with telescopes in Asia, like the Giant Meter Wave Radio Telescope in India. So these are some of the largest telescopes that have ever been designed, and they provide one of the best possible ways to find if there are any indeed signs of intelligent life at radio frequencies. So we will be able to pinpoint those locations and we will be able to find them using these large telescopes. So one of the projects that I feel very excited about leading is the survey of the galactic center. So we are living inside a Milky Way. It's a spiral galaxy, and we are living at the edge of this Milky Way. But the center of this Milky Way has a huge number of stars. And we are hoping that if there are indeed that many number of stars, there is a high chance that there might be advanced life, technologically advanced life out there. So as a part of the Breakthrough Listen project, what we are trying to do is to search the center of the Milky Way, or we call it galactic center, across the entire radio spectrum that's possible to do from ground-based instrument. That includes going from 1 to 100 gigahertz. Now this data will be collected across many years through various different observatories. Similar dataset has other ancillary science benefit because these datasets are quite unique. There are a couple of many pending questions in science, in astronomy, about the galactic center. One of that question, for example, is that are there pulsars which are located right near the center of the Milky Way? As you know, the Milky Way contains a supermassive black hole. Now, if you do find a pulsar which is circling around this black hole, then you would be able to find out various different properties of the black hole. So one of the projects that we are also leading as a part of the Breakthrough Listen survey of the galactic center is to also search for pulsars. And there are a number of students who are currently involved in looking at the data to search for these pulsars. So in SETI, historically, over the past 60 years, we've been searching for this one particular class of signal, which we call the narrowband signal. Signal which are where all the energy is concentrated in a single frequency channel. Now, that's a very good classes of signal because as far as what we have understood about nature, nature does not produce signal which are extremely narrowband. So that's an obvious choice, and historically that's what SETI has been doing. What I would like to do, and what has been proposed over the year but has not been possible to do due to computational limitation, is to search for different classes of signal. So what I've been trying to do is to devise different analysis tool. Now these different classes of signals include broadband artificially dispersed signal which kind of exhibit a dispersion property which you don't really necessarily see in nature. And I also search for signal which exhibit some kind of a modulation pattern. So modulation is a way by which you can convey information across large interstellar distances. Obviously, all the different ways by which we modulate, they are very anthropocentric. So there is no reason for us to believe that any advanced civilization out there might be using a similar modulation pattern. But nowadays, you have some of these novel analysis tools with the help of AI and machine learning that allows you to detect even if there is any kind of particular modulation that you cannot even classify. So what my next leg of research is focused on is devising these tools to identify unknown classes of modulation pattern. These are various different kinds of signals that I don't think so that we have ever searched in the history of SETI. So I feel quite passionate and quite enthusiastic about this particular problem. I feel that there is a way by which we can expand the parameter space in SETI and take it to a completely different domain that has never been searched before. So in SETI, we are always dealing with what we call radio frequency interference. Radio frequency interference is one of the most challenging things in general for radio astronomy, and SETI scientists are not an exception to that. We are in fact more prone to deal with radio frequency interference than other radio astronomers. First of all, because we really have no idea about what kind of signals that should be out there. So when we are trying to search for evidence of extraterrestrial technological signal generated by humans obviously seeps into that. The best way for us to discriminate it is to sky localize it, is to see if the signals are truly coming from one particular direction in the sky or whether they are coming from everywhere. Typically, that's a property of radio frequency interference, while a true signal which is coming from just one particular position in the sky should not be coming from different parts of the sky. So when you point your radio telescope towards one part of the sky, you should be seeing that signal, but you should not be seeing if you look at other parts of the sky. While that is not necessarily true for radio frequency interference. So you can do it in multiple ways. With single dishes, it is a little bit challenging. Sometimes you can do it with using multiple beams, and that will allow you to see if the signals is truly coming from one part or not. But it is not always easy to have multiple beams working together. So people have designed interferometers, which is a very better way of looking at the sky signals which are localized in sky. So we can look at these signals and then we can make images of the sky. If after forming images, if you really see the signal is coming from one particular point, that's a very good evidence that that is indeed signal is coming from the sky, and that is how you will be able to eliminate interference or RFI from your data. So I come from India. I did my PhD from this place called National Center for Radio Astrophysics, and I worked on pulsar over there. And I feel quite interested in engaging Indian scientists to do SETI. In fact, we have a program there in which we have hired 4 junior researchers to work on SETI, developing various different SETI tools to work with this telescope called Giant Meter Wave Radio Telescope, which is in fact one of the largest telescopes in the world at mid-range frequencies. Now, engaging this telescope will also allow us to engage Indian scientists and Indian community to do SETI. There are a lot of students, there are a lot of engineers who are working all across the country who have great passion for this particular subject, but they really don't have any venues to explore their passion or explore their interest. What we've been trying to do is to provide a platform to them so that they can engage in these SETI activities by providing inputs, getting themselves trained about various things that we worked on, and in principle helping us set up an eventual SETI activities and SETI hub in India. I feel quite honored to have worked with Break2Listen for all these years. I don't think so that there is any other program that can give you an exposure to so many different facets of science, and it is one of my greatest sort of joy to be working in this field, which is at the forefront of the research that is quite close to my heart.